Okay, so that thing you saw at dinner last night was pretty much the last thing I recorded that day. So sorry about that. I'm sorry on the lack of updates. But it is day 4 now. And today is Nassau, Bahamas.
That's where we're going.
No.
We're down.
Welcome back to Slippery Central Park. Yeah, pretty much. Take care, watch your step. Yeah, no kidding. Ooh, yeah. Okay, this area is dry. To her person. Now let's go to breakfast. Time lapse. Well, we are now in the Bahamas.
That's the famous Paradise Island.
Yep.
Well, Paradise
And there's our dock. This time looks like we are docking on the port side.
Island. See that island there? That's Paradise
Oh,
Island.
okay.
And on this side is Nassau. And you can see straight ahead there's a bridge there.
Mister, we don't know anything. Thank you. Yeah.
You can go through. I'll wait for you.
No video recording right here, yeah?
Come this way, it's easier.
Is he with you now?
He's with me.
Alright.
Well, he's with me too, but she's mama.
Alright. Thank you, Lisa.
I'm only grandma. That's big. Not only grandma.
This way.
It's another ship. See there, running some other ship.
Go ahead, you can start going down.
Is that good afternoon, everybody?
Good afternoon.
You just had your cardio. You just had your 10,000 steps. Everybody should be powered up now, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, it don't fool me. That's a long walk. That's a long walk. Anyway, guys, my name is Tyrone. I want to thank you for coming down and visiting our islands. Now, today we're going to be doing a tour. It should take about 2.5, maybe 3 hours, depending on traffic. Now, while we're on this tour, we will be making a few stops. Now, when we do, keep in mind you are on bus number 98. That is the license plate number. Your driver, his name is Tyrone. And if you run into any kind of problems, then you got to go look for Bob, Jack, Jim, Billy, Jane, Amos, Moses, Abraham. Call any other name. Just don't call Tyrone. Just don't call Tyrone, okay? Now, right where you boarded the bus, that is where you're going to be disembarking. And it is right across the street from the straw market. Right across the street. So, we're going to begin the tour in this area known as Downtown and Bay Street. The street coming up from west to east can be dated back to the 1600s. It is the main shopping area for our guests. This will find your souvenir stores and also the straw market. Now we got the name Bay Street because the area that we live in, that was actually where the bay used to be. Now on my right hand side, the pink buildings with the green shutters. That area it is called Parliament Square. Constructed back in the 1800s by the Loyalists out of South Carolina. The first building is the House of Assembly. Now that's where government meets to make the laws. The second building is the Senate. That is where the laws are passed. The third building is the office of our Chief Justice. And out front, there's a statue of Queen Victoria, who came to the throne as a teenager. Now the colonial architecture designs on these buildings, they're there because they were colonized by loyalists out of South Carolina, Boston, Virginia, and also Georgia. Many of the buildings are 2 stories high. The early settlers used to live upstairs and had their stores downstairs. Now many of the buildings they are closed or dilapidated. That is because of the openings of a number of shopping centers and malls in the developing parts of the island. They took a lot of the businesses away from Bay Street. Now the island itself, it is made from limestone. There is a huge limestone mound that sat on the island.
I got it. That's good.
The early settlers stuck the limestone mounds into building blocks to construct all of the buildings that you see on Bay Street. There was not enough trees on the island to use for lumber. So anytime a ship wrecked in the harbor, they'll take the lumber from the ship, they put up the roof, the doors, and the windows on these buildings. Now if you look at the wall on my left hand side, see this yellow wall on my left? That wall is made from cut limestone blocks. If you take the plaster of the buildings on Bay Street, that's what it looks like underneath. Now the first stop I'd like to make is going to be over at the Rum Cake Factory. Sounds like a stop? That sounds like an almost no. What happened? Nobody want to stop?
Yes.
You want to get some samples of the rum cake? You know this is what you've been training for, right? Let's get some rum cake, guys. We can get drunk without drinking today. The building on my right hand side, listen up, go inside and get your samples. Alright?
You are not old enough to have one.
During our little 15-minute break, I got a seat upgrade, as you can see.
Choose again the assortment of nuts, some dried fruit, some Myers rum, some Bacardi Gold. Put those ingredients in a big jar and let them soak for a year. A whole year. You remember those big plastic mayonnaise jar? Then at Christmas she'll make that fruit cake. Now that was only served at the grown-ups table. But you know, if you want them little children that just keep running around and didn't want to keep still, you'd be like, look here baby, come taste this cake. Put them little children fast asleep, right?
Yep.
Now let's all tell the truth and shame the devil. When the kids were teething, what would you do? Listen, you out the country, you could talk it. You get some rum, some bourbon, some what, you know. You put that on their gum, and they suck that, and they go to sleep, right?
Yes.
Now, if them children have colic, and they up all night making noise, then you gotta drink that rum. Because they're going to sleep. You got work in the morning. You got work in the morning. Now the bridge coming up, we're going to go to Atlantis Resort, and we dedicated this bridge to one of our Bahamian sons, Sir Sidney Portier. Now Sir Sidney Portier, He was a movie producer and also an actor from one of our islands called Cat Island. He got an Academy Award for the movie called Lily of the Fields back in '66. And he also starred and started the hit series called In Heat of the Night, where they called him Mr. Virgil Tibbs. Now, Sir Sidney has not forgotten where he came from. He donated a lot of funds towards the construction of schools and scholarships for the local Bahamian kids. Sir Sidney 48. Now, please take out your cameras, cell phones, look to your left, and please take a photo of your cruise ship. It is mandatory that you do this. Because on the way back, if your ship ain't there, welcome to the Bahamas.
We're staying with Tyrone.
No, sir. I got a wife. I got 4 daughters, a mother-in-law, a sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law has a daughter, a house full of women. I got 2 bathrooms, and I still gotta go outside. Yeah, I have no say in my house. So straight ahead is Paradise Island, where we have the Atlantis Resort. The first structure on the far left, that is the Reef Condo / Hotel. Second one is the Cove. Third is the Royal Tower with the Brit Suite in the middle, aka the Michael Jackson Suite. The pastel colored buildings, Harborside, Timeshare. Behind Harborside you'll find the casino and also the water park. That's our Bahamian flag on top of the Coral Towers. Next will be the Beach Tower, the Rio, and also the Conference Center. To my immediate right hand side is going to be Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. But Jimmy Buffett, he was a friend to the island. Everybody knew him, and yeah, everybody knew Jimmy Buffett, and Jimmy Buffett knew everybody. So he is missed by the locals. Now, if you wanted to do any off-island water activity, like sail and snorkel, deep-sea fishing, that's where you take the boats to do those activities. And with that, guys, welcome to Paradise Island. Now, just an announcement, listen very carefully. Atlantis, they're not allowing the tour buses on the properties to do tours. Okay? So, we're going to see what we can get away with today. When I approach the gates where the security are, I don't want nobody looking suspicious. Do not look at the police officer, the security officers. And when I reach close, I'm just gonna gun it so we can go on through. All right? Yeah. So yeah, that's what it's gonna be like. Don't make no eye contact with the popo. All right? We got that? Okay. David, where's David? David, that's you? That's my co-pilot? My co-pilot, please keep your hands and feet indoors at all times, all right? Now, when I go through this tunnel, we're actually going underneath water. Above us is going to be the entrance to the marina. So right now there's water above us and also water below. Okay, I'm gonna make it right here at Royal Towers. Security. Oh my goodness, the stick is up, so the stick is broken. Let's let him go first. Let's stop him. Nope. All right. Nobody look left. Nobody look left. Yeah, I think the sticker's broken this time. Okay. Now the Brit Suite was actually called the Michael Jackson Suite. At the grand opening, Mike was supposed to be the first celebrity to stay there, but Mike did not show up. On short notice, they brought in Grace Jones. She was already on property for the festivities. The Royal Towers is actually the flagship for the Atlantis Resort. Now the signature for the Royal Towers is the flying horses out front. Now that is what I used to call them, until I was corrected by a child. The child said, no sir, they are called Pegasus. So that's what I called them, Pegasus. And guess what? I was then corrected by another child. The child said, it's Pegasi. One is singular, the other one is plural. So this is the Royal Towers. If you walk inside, make a left, it'll take you into the casino. That is the Marina Village back there, where they have those mega luxury yachts. So if you're ever in the Marina Village, for God's sake, don't call them boats. Folks get real upset when you call their multi-million-dollar yacht a boat. The body of water on my left-hand side, that is the entrance to the marina, and that's the body of water that we went underneath when we went through the tunnel. Now Atlantis was scheduled to be some 7 phases, but they stopped on phase 3. Now when they did phase 3, they put in over 10,000 palm trees. That's just the palm trees. The very tall coconut trees came all the way from Jamaica. The date palms, some of them came from Dubai. They also bought out a nursery in Florida called Tropics North Nursery. How do I know? Because this is the guy that put in some of these trees. You guys see the beautiful resort? I still see hard work. Do I come on this island on my day off? Negative. Feels like you're going to work. Now behind the hedge on my left hand side, that we have a lot of concerts. Janet Jackson was there a few weeks ago, and I think Christina Aguilera is next. Okay, security coming up on my right. Michael, put the camera down. Put the camera.
A few moments later.
$600,000+. They have a rental program to stay in your condo 3 months. The rest of the year, they're rented out for you. Second structure on my left, that is the Cove. It is more adult. Some of their rooms are suites, and some can start at $1,100 a night. Now this is where most of the celebrities, the athletes from around the world stay when they come here at the resort. They have 2 adult pool areas. One is called the cane pool area. What happens at the cane stays at the cane. I could tell you some stories, but this is a PG tour. Yeah, Oprah Winfrey, Kelly and Ryan, and some of their morning shows there as well. The covered walkway on my left takes the guests to the water park, and also an area on my left known as Dolphin Key. Now this is where the guests have shallow and deep water interaction with the dolphins. So if you look back there, you might see the dolphins swimming around. When the resort started, this is deducted from your check according to how much you make. It goes towards your health care and also retirement. Now, if you do not make any contributions, you won't be able to get any contributions from National Insurance. Now, making a left onto Elizabeth Avenue, named in honor of Queen Elizabeth. This is Elizabeth Avenue. And right next to her would be Princess Margaret. Now, Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret, they were sisters. Victoria was there. Anybody remembers? Grandmother. Now straight ahead, that is where we find the Queen's Staircase, or the 66 steps. They were hand carved right into the limestone by the slave to have access to the fort and also an area back there known as Bennett's Hill. Now that was the original purpose for those steps. But because the Queen, she signed off on the abolishment of slavery in all of the British territories, they named those steps after her. So we're going to ride up to the top. We're going to come up for a few minutes, all right? Now on my right, green building with white trim, is our police headquarters. Now the government buildings, they are all color coded. Green buildings with white trim, police station. Now that is the only hotel you don't want to check into when you are on vacation. Don't even ride in their cars. We call them the House of Pain. How do I know? Because I took a ride once or twice. Baby tracks, baby tracks. And as you can see, many of the streets that we are riding on, they were not made for vehicles. They were made for horse and buggies. Now, if we are able to stop here at the fort, on my right hand side, the Queen's Staircase, and the guy in the yellow shirt will give you some information on it. Great building on my right, that is where you find the restrooms. Okay, let's see if I can find some place to park if possible. Okay, let's make a circle around. Now the fort on my right hand side, it is called Fort Fincastle, constructed by Lord Dunmore, the last colonial governor of New York and also Virginia. Now he convinced the English that the French were coming in to invade, so they gave him tons of money to build 2 of our forts. But the French never showed up and the forts never saw any action. The cannons at the fort, they are not the original cannons. They're made from bronze, sent back to London. They sent us back the ones made from cast iron. There are also holes on the side of the fort, and those holes are actually for ventilation. Okay, so we're going to make a stop. Like I said, please utilize the restroom. And I need everybody back here at 3:30, okay? 3:30.
Oh, that's our bus. That's our bus, Mom.
He'll come back.
Wait right here.
He's gonna come back.
Wait right here. You have to go around.
He's back.
Yeah, you gotta come back. Let's go.
Don't worry, Papa's on the bus and he won't let them leave.
can't block the street up. That's why you have to go around.
Do you know where the stairs were?
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Fort Charlotte, Fort Castle, and also Fort Montague. Now, none of these forts ever saw any action. But however, over at Fort Montague, the U.S. Navy came in looking for gunpowder. They did not find any. They found barrels and barrels of rum. So you know what happened, right? They stayed for a few weeks, and that's how spring break got started. Now the front of the fort on my right is shaped like the bow of a ship. Now the reasoning behind that was that if there were any pirates in the harbor that wanted to come in to invade, they would see the silhouette of the fort and think there was a British ship in the harbor. Now on my right hand side, this is the guardhouse. The guards would have been on top looking out into the water to see if any ship was coming in. Now today the water tower, it is now closed. But the government uses the water tower as a lighthouse. Their beacon can be seen by ships some 20 miles out to sea. Now again on my left hand side where you have the Queen's Staircase, and it came out to this area known as Bennett's Hill, Bay Street and Shirley Street. That is where the upscale people lived at the time. Anyone that had status, hold on guys, hello. Anyone who had status, or that was the governor's circle, lived on Bay Street and Shirley Street. There's a huge limestone mound that sat between Bay Street. We are on that mound, and to the south side known as Bennett's Hill. So at a certain time of the evening, all of the slaves had to be, all of the slaves had to be off Bay Street. That's where the Queen's Staircase came in, all the steps, 66 steps. So that was our access over the limestone back into that area known as Bennett's Hill. So everything on my left hand side or to the south, that's where the locals live and continue to live today. Now coming up on my right hand side, this is the new U.S. Embassy that is under construction. You do have a U.S. Embassy, but your government is spending close to $500 million on this new embassy. Your money. They put in a Motel 6. Just in case you miss your cruise ship, they will leave the light on for you. They acquired all of the properties across from the embassy for storage and parking space. Now that embassy was started by President Obama. So from Obama till now, how many years that been under construction? Anybody can figure that one out? Let's leave it at too long. Let's leave it at too long. Now across the street, pink buildings with white trim. This is our judicial complex, where we have our Supreme Courts, where the magistrates, the judges, the lawyers, they still put on the wig and the robe. The octagon-shaped structure on my right, that was actually our first prison. Today it is a public library and museum. Now behind the traffic light, there's a structure made from cut limestone blocks, and the roof, the doors and the windows were made from ships that wrecked in the harbor. History tells us this used to be a bakery, and right behind it, that is where you'd find the ovens. So if you take the plaster Off the buildings on Bay Street, that is what it looked like underneath. This is our Registrar General's apartment. Any legal document you need registered, that is where you would go. Before 9/11, a lot of foreigners used to register their companies there to avoid paying taxes. Now behind the traffic light is the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It regulates and monitors all of the banking activities done here in the islands. And on the left, St. Andrew's Presbyterian Cook, that is the only Scottish church on the island. Now that is also where Mr. James Bond 007, aka Sean Connery, used to attend church. Sean Connery lived on this island for over 50 years in a gated community known as Lightfoot's Gate. Sean Connery is the only actor who could have played a Russian submarine boat captain with a Scottish accent. Hunt for the Red October. Now the governor's mansion on my left hand side had a statue out front of the first tourist to land on this island back in 1492. His name was Christopher Columbus. But however, over COVID, someone took a sledgehammer to him and took him down off the stand which he's standing. Now our history of Christopher Columbus. He came here in 1492, 3 ships with conquistadors as the police and prisoners because everybody thought that the world was flat. When they landed here, they found the local Indians, which were the Lucayan Indians, and also the Arawak Indians. They were wearing the gold in their nose, in their ears, around the ankles. So you know what happened, right? Where is the gold? Our Indians traded with the Taino Indians, and they were from Mexico. So now with that information, they gathered up all of the Indians from these islands and took them to Mexico to mine for that Aztec gold. When the British arrived, they only found a very few older Lucayan Indians on the island. Yeah, so that's what happened to the original Indians on the islands. Now on my left, the Great Cliff Hotel and Restaurant, voted to be one of the top 10 restaurants in the world by Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And right below us, they have some $30 million worth of wine in their wine cellar, right below us. They have a bottle of wine this big that costs almost $100,000+. To my left, upstairs they have their chocolatier, and downstairs they have the cigar company downstairs. Now a number of famous guests have called Great Cliff their home, including Aristotle Onassis, Sir Winston Churchill, the Beatles, and even Martin Luther King Jr., who wrote parts of the I Have a Dream speech on one of our islands called Bimini. Now Bimini is the closest island to the Florida Keys. It is just 50 miles off the coast of Florida. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to make another stop over at the John Watlings Distillery. So we're going to be there for about 35 minutes. They're going to give you a short tour on the inside. They're also going to give you some samples. There's a vendor there selling conch salad, conch fritters, fried snapper, So if you want to get anything from her, please don't be shy, go and do so. So you have 35 minutes to get drunk, get sober, get back on the bus. Now, not necessarily in that order, but get back on the bus. Bus number 98. Now the street that you're on, it is called Augusta Street. When the Loyalists came on out from Georgia, many of them settled on this street and gave it the name Augusta. Okay, walk up those blue and white steps. There's going to be a guy there waiting for you with some samples.
Looks like someone has activated this alarm recently.
John Watley's Distillery, they do not export, but they do have warehouses in the US. You can get on their website and have their products delivered right to your front door. Come on guys, let's ride.
I didn't know you were
Now-
even waiting.
Now, in the movie Casino Royale, Daniel Craig, acting as James Bond, jumped over this wall and landed where you see that blue sign. Ever since he did that, they nicknamed that area 007's Corner. But there's only one 007 on the island we acknowledge, and that was Mr. Sean Connery. Sean Connery lived on this island for over 50 years. Now, at the beginning of the movie, Casino Royale, they had a chase. Now, that chase started in Africa. They ran along that building there, and the guy walked through these gates and ended up at the Haitian embassy. So in less than 10 minutes, he ran from Africa here and then to Haiti. Yeah, 10 minutes. Now the old dilapidated houses that you're going to be seeing on either side of the street, this is what some of the locals live in. Many of them were constructed back in the late 1800s, early 1900s by our grandparents who worked hard as gardeners, maids, built these little houses. The kids came along, lived with their parents, and would build their house in a better area. Now when those houses were completed, they would have brought their parents to come and live with them. Now the grandkids come along. Those grandkids move right back into grandma and granddad's house, and that cycle starts all over again. These houses might be old and dilapidated, but they have a lot of history to them. They have been producing many prominent Bahamians, and the locals, they are not selling. Don't touch grandma and granddad's house. Now your grandparents may have left the house and property in all of the children's name. So if you have 5 to 10 brothers and sisters, they all needed to sign off on that property before it could be sold.
That police car just disappeared.
Right on my right hand side, I'm going to show you. On my right, this is one of our Supreme Courts, and that one made the news because of the FTX Bitcoin case Anybody remembers that scene? That's where it all started. Green building with white trim, police station. Like I said, green buildings with white trim, police station. Now there's always a number of locals congregated in front of the police station having a cold beer. Don't believe me? Keep looking on my right. That's what the locals do. You see the guy got the beer in his hand and the green can? And the blue can, sorry? That's the attitude I had when I went to Lynchburg, Virginia. I didn't know. I thought what we do here, you can do anywhere else in the world. Now the name of the island that you are on, it is called New Providence, and it is the capital of all of the Bahama Islands. And the capital of this island, it is called Nassau. The island is 7 miles wide, 21 miles long. Population under 500,000 people. Now during the winter months, it can get very cold on the island. We can get down to 60 degrees. Yeah, 60 is cold for us. During the summer months, 85 is always fine. Now the main economy on the island, now that would be you, which is tourism. Second would be our financial services. Third, construction. And fourth would be fishing. We have over 3,000 islands, small cays and rocks, scattered across 100,000 square miles of turquoise and aquamarine waters. We do not have any alligators, no crocodiles, no poisonous snakes, and no poisonous spiders. But we do have over 80,000 pink flamingos, millions of land crabs, thousands of turtles, iguanas, and one of our islands we got some swimming pigs. Have you heard about our swimming pigs? And some of the pigs they swim. And next year we can teach them how to fly. Oh, by the way, no cow tipping and no fainting goats. Now on my right hand side, this is the Bahamas Humane Society. Their motto is, if you adopt one dog, you'll get 3 for free. Now straight ahead, that is where we find the Industrial Gardens and Zoo, and that is where we have the flamingos. This area you're riding through, it is called Awawaski, but the locals call it the fish fry. It is a man-made key made up from the shells of conchs. Now this way we have a lot of our Bahamian cuisine. That'll be like the peas and rice, baked macaroni, shrimp, steak, lobster, prepared any which way but wrong. On my left is where you also get the conch salad or tropical salad. So that's when they add the mangoes and also pineapples to your Kong salad.
它有些东西
Some of the more popular restaurants would be O'Andros,
那你做了以
The
后
Twin
觉得
Brothers,
效果好
featured on NBC, CBS, and also Bobby Flay. On the stage on my right hand side, on the weekend, after the locals band come out to perform for the guests here at the fish fry. Now on the eastern end of the fish fry, this way the guys be grilling and chilling, and the ladies, they'll be shaking and baking. Okay, let's stop up here so you guys come and take some pictures here on the beach.
要回来也可以啦。哦，在这沙滩。
15 minutes, 20 minutes, yes? Go ahead, guys. Lighthouse came around. The locals on the island, they used to intentionally steer your ship into the rocks to wreck. It was called wrecking. It was a way of life. The color of our water, it's turquoise or aquamarine. We get the color because of our strong currents, our coral reefs, no offshore drilling, and no factories. Now, even though we are islands surrounded by water, many Bahamians don't even know how to swim. In fact, many Bahamians have never even been in the water. And by Bahamian standards, this island has the worst beaches. Some of the other islands, the water is aquamarine as far as the eye can see. And the sand on those beaches, the sand is pink. They have pink, sandy beaches. Now, right where your cruise ship is now docked, that is where pirates used to dock their ship as well. This island used to be called a pirates' republic. It was a haven for pirates. One pirate in particular, his name was Blackbeard, who built a tower on the eastern end of the island. Now that tower, it still stands. Blackbeard also dug a well, and only Blackbeard and his crew could have gotten water out of that well. Another pirate on the island, his name was Captain Morgan. Now Captain Morgan was actually a buccaneer. That meant that he had a piece of paper from the crown that said he could board your ship and confiscate all of your goods in the name of the crown. He was so good at it that they made him Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica. And 9 years later, he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. John Watlings was also a buccaneer, and he died from a gunshot wound to the liver. Now we have 3 of the major resorts in the region on this island. That would be the Bahamas Resort, the gated area on the western end of the island, the Sandals brand, and also the Atlantis. Now these 3 resorts have been holding down some 20,000 Bahamians employed on an annual basis. Now education on the island. The kids go to school age 5, grade 1. They graduate age 16, 17, grade 12. We do have a university where the kids can get the associates and their master's degrees in about 40 different subjects. And their credits are recognized around the US and also the UK. We do have 300 schools throughout the Bahama Islands. And all of the students, they all have to wear a uniform for identification. And that's public and private schools combined. Now in the public school system, they have something called the Cadet Corps. So depending on your GPA, if you want to be a police officer, you can join the police cadet in school, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force cadet, or even the nursing cadets. Now on my left hand side coming up, this is the closest beach for our cruise ship visitors. It is called Junkanoo Beach on the Western Esplanade. Now everything on my left hand side coming up was done over or completed over COVID. We had investors acquired all of the existing properties, renovated it, expanded it. They put in the second Margaritaville, a makeshift water park, and also a marina. Now on my left there is a well. To my left hand side, that is the man-made well that Blackbeard dug. And only Blackbeard on his crew could have gotten water out of that well. Okay, someone's looking for a pharmacy. I'll show you the first one. On my left hand side, this is Doctor's Hospital Pharmacy. It's a hospital and pharmacy. Look on the inside. The street on my right, it is called Queen Street. And at the end of Queen Street is where you'll find the current U.S. Embassy. Right next to Embassy number 2, which is McDonald's. Now Henry Flagler out of Florida constructed this hotel on my left and gave it the name Colonial. Now we're heading back on to Bay Street. Like I said, the street can be dated back to the 1600s. So that means you're coming to the end of the tour. Did you guys enjoy the tour today?
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes,
that you
actually.
did. I'm happy that you did. Now in a few minutes you will be disembarking. When you do, please take all of your valuables with you. Hats, shades, glasses, cell phones, cameras, children, husbands, wives, moms, dads.
David.
Because if you don't, the next time you see them, they just might be on eBay. It has happened. And when you disembark, do not forget your driver. Your appreciation will be greatly appreciated. Now, if you have any questions before you disembark, now is the time.
My camera did really well during that. I'm only at 59%. I only went for one battery and 40% of the next one.
Now on my right hand side, this will find the world famous straw market. So if you want to get souvenirs, right on the right hand side. Hold on, baby.
It was hard.
Okay, these are the two ships together. We have Carnival Sunshine and Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas. So yeah, obviously already know our ship is Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas.
You seen a pirate ship?
Yeah, it's down here.
Okay, I'm just waiting about that.
Yeah.
I just noticed the Carnival is leaving.
Yes.
I just noticed, guys, that the Carnival is leaving. Not us, though.
He wants you to go this way, but you have to wait. Well, we gotta wait for him to let them to move. Otherwise, he'll crash into them.
And the alternative him
Yeah, once I
rolling
get
off
started,
that.
He's gotta
do it.
go. He's gotta wait until he can get halfway in.
Otherwise, the alternative is just falling backwards.
No, it'll.
Take a look, the Carnival's leaving.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah,
Are
look
you
at that.
videoing it?
Of course he is.
There you go.
Yeah, I got hit by that before.
Watch it turn around. Very steep.
Found that because a couple of times I didn't know anything. Where's Mr. David?
Oh, grandma's in the video.
Are you videoing a nose there?
Right in that nostril.
Hey, look at the door.
I know.
Yeah, I got the security.
When you do, throw your camera in my bag.
And then you gotta turn it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop it again.
A few moments later.
Okay, 2 minutes later, and everyone passed. Probably not even 2 minutes.
Just so you know.
Okay, are you taking a shower?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to our room.
Absolutely. But we can take fast.
We'll move quickly. Okay.
Now we are going to dinner, and we just realized we are going the wrong direction. Oh. Our grandparents can't make up their minds right now, so we don't know where we're going yet.
There'll have to be a picture of that.
Okay, it's 9:30 p.m. and we're gonna go down to the pool real quick. So I mean up to the pool because we're on 12 and the pool is at like 15. So, oh, perfect. Perfect. We didn't even have to press anything. What floor? 15?
15.
You have my goggles?
There's the bag.
Okay, good.
All watches should be in water mode.
Oh, by the way, I can't record much since my battery is low, and I don't have any other current ones.
No, it's kind of fun to smell too much.
No, it's this way, Dad. Or we can go this. So for some reason this pool has salt water. It's not the best. Perfect angle ever.